I'm Sarah.
And I'm Julie. Join us for unbuttoned and unedited conversations.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Julie, and we're excited to have Ben Wiggins with us today. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you very much. Hey, guys.
Hey, I'm so happy you could join us today. We're excited because we were able to actually watch your Hallmark movie over the weekend, Savoring Paris, which was it aired on the 8th. So just this past weekend.
Yes.
It was adorable.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad you were able to see it. Over here in England, I don't think it's had an official release date yet. So I was, tracking around Amazon Prime and Netflix going, where is this going to be on? But luckily, one of the producers sent me a link. So I was able to watch it last night, which I'm thrilled about. Yeah.
I love that. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about Savoring Paris?
Yeah, of course. So Savoring Paris is a romantic comedy. It follows the journey of Ella, who is, I guess, a bit bored with her humdrum life at her job in America, and sort of on a whim decides to return to Paris, where she had visited several years before. As I guess that was the place that she felt most alive. She loved it. It was, she just fell in love with the city. And it follows her trying a lot of cheese. She's a cheese fanatic. And also just the people that she meets along the way. The two guys that sort of follow, I suppose, are her romantic interests, and then the friends she makes.
Yeah, when you hear about a movie kind of based around cheese, you're like, okay, how cheesy will this be? But exactly. It's a Bethany Joy Lenz movie, which those are always fantastic, and It did not disappoint. It was not so cheesy, but very adorable, and well done. And I'm hearing all over social media a lot of Beauty and the Beast kind of comparisons, and I think one of them is naturally because you play Gaston.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your character and maybe something you really liked about him.
Yeah, so Gaston is a young up-and-coming food critic in Paris. He's, I guess, like a typical millennial in that he's got a good job, he's got some disposable income, he loves going out, he loves going to nice restaurants, meeting people, dating. I think in some ways he I guess represents, he's known as the cad in the film, so I guess there's a little bit of the vibe of that old sort of toxic masculinity, but actually he comes across as, I hope, very charming as well, very sure of himself, very confident, and just, I think, embraces the fact that he loves new experiences. And so rather than just dating loads of women for the sake of dating it and just getting around, it's actually more about how many different people, how many different things can he learn from different people. So that's the way I convinced myself my character wasn't a complete nasty kind of guy.
So saying that, I actually, I agree with that. I think he came across as incredibly charming and a really viable option. I very much enjoyed that instead of the kind of like obvious, oh, well, that's not the guy, right? I really love that. And Gaston plays an important part in the journey and having her see things through a different set of eyes and viewpoint.
Yeah, I think they both, for each other, Ella and Gaston, they allow each other, they teach each other things, right? I think there's this youthful energy that Gaston brings to Ella, and I think it sort of juxtaposes what her normal life in America was. The fact her mom just wants her to settle down, get an apartment, freeze her eggs, get a husband, and do all the things that you should be doing at Ella's age. And Gaston is kind of like, nah, man, let's go out, let's go explore Paris. Look at these amazing things I've prepared for you, and all the exciting things that Paris has to offer. So yeah, I love the fact he sort of represented a bit of danger in a way, but also just a bit of excitement. And on the flip side, Ella massively educated him and going, life's not all about hedonism. It's not all about having fun. You can have fun, but also take things seriously and find love. Like if you do try to focus on one person, one woman, maybe that's going to make you happy rather than just so many different women.
Right. I love what Julie said about about that because it's so true. A lot of times when we're watching these movie of the week's rom-coms, you automatically know like this is the wrong guy and he's all wrong for her. But I really did enjoy, like you said, they brought out the kind of like these other sides of it for each other, and they taught each other something. And I think that's kind of unique. We don't always get to see a relationship like that.
Yeah, I think it wasn't necessarily that sorry, I think it wasn't necessarily that obvious who she was going to end up with necessarily, right? Like at the beginning, Serge Stanley was just so grumpy and so rude, and you're like, wow, this isn't going to work out, is it? So that whole sort of flip change throughout the film, I thought was a lovely touch.
Did you have a favorite scene that you and Bethany Joy filmed together?
Oh my god, 100% easy. Yeah. It was the one underneath the Eiffel Tower on the boat. I mean, like, that. I think I hadn't been to Paris since I was young. Like we used to go on school trips there when I was at school here in England.
That is not where my school trips go.
Not where we go either.
yeah, on school trips, it's like let's go visit the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe and learn some French. So that was awesome. But I hadn't been back since I was honestly about 11. So walking through the streets of Paris, I mean, have you guys been?
I have not.
Nope.
It's so beautiful. Like the film does nothing to enhance its beauty. That's just Paris. And I think just walking around there, it kind of feels like you're on a film set. I mean, so many films are set there anyway, but it very much felt like you're just before we were even filming, I was walking through going, these buildings are beautiful. The Seine, Notre Dame, like all these amazing, iconic monuments and places. And so to be filming underneath the Eiffel Tower, people are stopping by, watching by the river, and they're like, what's going on down here? So we had this whole audience while, we're dancing on the boat, and then we're chatting, and then we're kissing. People in the background were cheering. Like they had to be like, guys, we're actually trying to film. It was magic. And obviously the Eiffel Tower, I don't know if you know, but every night it lights up for about, 5 minutes every half an hour or something. So every now and then we'd be filming, we both, Joy and I would just go, oh my god, like wow.
The Eiffel Tower is going.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We do see it, whether it's in the background or just in one of the cuts from scene to scene, the Eiffel Tower all lit in the movie. And it's just kind of amazing as someone who hasn't seen that. That's like, I'm like, wait, I didn't know they had twinkle lights on the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful, and it kind of made you go, I wish there was like a proposal scene here because it's just perfect.
It's so
like
crazy,
yeah, I mean the city of love is just represented in that whole scene. I felt very, very lucky to be shooting it.
It was fun to watch.
Amazing, good.
So you filmed quite a bit in Paris. Did you film anywhere else outside of Paris?
Yeah, so Paris was actually towards the end of our shoot. We started off in Bulgaria, in Sofia, where I think more and more films are being filmed there now, just because the people over there, the crews are absolutely amazing. I mean, efficient, lovely, just let's get the job done. And it's all done to such a high standard. So they basically built, I don't know if I should say which parts are Paris and which parts aren't, but they built a sort of Parisian street, and some of the shops, they were all sort of, crafted by the set designers. And then various of the apartments, the indoor shots were made sort of in a studio, just outside of the center of Bulgaria. So in terms of a fun job to have, we were on location loads, and that for an actor, being able to travel is so exciting.
Yeah,
it's great.
We're hearing a lot about Bulgaria a lot being used as a filming location. Yeah, we got to add that to our bucket list.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
I'm gonna do a shout out to the set people. Like they do an amazing job on these.
Unbelievable. Honestly, I looked at it, was like, oh, we are definitely in Sofia. Wow, this looks awesome. Like I don't know how they and they do it fast as well. Like they built the set so quickly. I think at one point they wanted to show the changing seasons by the shop fronts, and the crew were like, yeah, we can sort that. And within like an hour, they've got like Christmas stuff, autumnal stuff. Like we were just like, wow, how is this happening? It's so speedy. No, they were fantastic.
So fun. Can you give us a little Easter egg to maybe watch for when we're rewatching, or for those of the fans that have not gotten to see the movie, but something we can kind of look for?
So I was wondering what Easter eggs in the film, and I don't know if there are any, or like maybe I wasn't aware of them if there are any. I don't know if like Hallmark have set things that they tend to do in films. When I was watching it, one of the things which is more exciting for me than it will be for the audience, but was like in some of the scenes at the cafes, I was like, hang on, that's our producer just there, and oh my god, there's another one of our producers. So I was like, oh, these guys are playing as extras in the film. But in terms of an Easter egg, I mean, I bet the cast would be like, duh, Ben, it was this. Like, we did this.
No, it's up for interpretation. It can be for whatever you want. Julie, go ahead. I just cut you off.
In the background is a great Easter egg. Random producers as extras.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved seeing them because I was like, this is brilliant. Like, they're the ones that are running the show, and they're just like, yes, having a coffee at one of the lovely Parisian coffee shops.
So we'll see if we can identify the producers when we're going through the coffee shop scenes again. It's like, exactly. So one of these is actually a producer. I kind of love that. Well, the group of people when you're shooting these films isn't huge, right? It's
exactly. The number of extras that you have. I mean, I think only very eagle-eyed people will be able to see. Like, I'm pretty sure we saw that person in another scene somewhere. Like the way that the costume department, the makeup department sort people out to make them look so different is just is fantastic. And like I think people always think that extras, it's just sort of like walk on, walk off, but there is an art behind it, it's you're not a lead actor, but it's making everything look completely natural, because the minute there's something that happens in the background that you're like, what, it kind of takes you out of the magic of the moment. And these guys were just great, so natural, so easygoing, great to work with. I think people often say, we had a really fun time doing the shoot, but honestly, this cast and crew and, production team, director, just were the loveliest people. And I think when you're on location, you're obviously crammed together in a hotel usually. So you have no choice but to like hang out and get on. And all of us were like, let's go for dinner. Let's go explore Bulgaria. Let's go do Paris. It was really lovely.
We hear often that it's almost like a summer camp, like when you you do these little movie of the weeks. Yeah.
You pinch yourself and go, I am working. This is serious. I'm working. Like, I would speak to my friends, my family, and they'd be like, it sounds like you're just having a jolly over in Paris. I was like, no, guys, it's really serious. There's hard work going on.
But I am having a jolly over in Paris. Which is a great line, which is something we never say in the U.S.
No, I love that.
I'm going to remember that one, like about midnight when I'm in the ER. Having a jolly. So did you get to do some exploring together?
Yeah, so Joy, Stanley, and I we wanted to climb. There's this mountain in Bulgaria. I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called, but it's the big mountain that's just outside Sofia. And we were like, right, let's go climb it. We've got nothing to do today. We're off today. I think it was a Sunday. Let's go climb the mountain. And we drove up there, and for some reason, no one had told us that between the hours of like 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. the mountain is just closed. The police are there. They're like, you cannot go up the mountain. So we were like, oh, this is typical. I honestly don't remember why. I don't know if it was to preserve the natural beauty, or whether it was for the locals that they had their time. We couldn't figure it out. But we ended up going on a lovely walk around one of their huge lakes in Bulgaria. And then when we were in Paris, there was just quite a bit, like, I certainly had a couple of days where I could just wander around and visit all the lovely places, pop to the Louvre and the Notre Dame, which obviously still has all its scaffolding up, which they're desperate to get finished by the time the Olympics arrives.
I bet.
The weather, I mean, we lucked out massively. It was about 28 degrees every day when we were in Paris. So it was just, it was perfect. Really, really perfect.
I'm like, here, I'm going to do my conversion for
all I was waiting for that, Julie.
American friends, I'm like 28 plus 32 plus 5.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So 28 plus 32, 28, 38, 48, 58, 60 plus half of 28.
This is good maths. I wouldn't be able to do this.
Upper 70s.
Perfect weather.
Yeah,
which is nice, right? It's like hot. You're not dying. You're not sweating too much, but it's just beautiful.
It's perfect.
And that added to the magic of being in Paris, just the romance, the excitement, the beauty, because everything looks better in the sun, right? It's all
of course.
And when it's not too hot and not too cold, it's lovely.
So lovely.
I was going to say that the wardrobe department really knocked it out of the park too. I thought everybody just looked so great. Joy's outfits were adorable. Like, everybody was dressed So cute.
Yeah, definitely. I think Manon, the girl that played Clotilde, Gaston's
Mm.
cousin, just every one of her outfits, I was like, how you like she swoops into the room and it's just this
Yeah.
beautiful dress. I was like, yes, this is sick.
She was
Yeah,
magical. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And I think that whole thing, you know, you see sort of Ella arrive in certain outfit, which I don't know if it was a hoodie and jeans, and then the more she's in Paris, the more sort of chic and stylish she becomes. So yeah, I love the storytelling that the costume department did there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, hoodie, jeans, and a hat, man. She just came in like full American.
Full American.
I was like, hoodie, jeans, and a hat. That's how we're going to show up in Paris. Even I wouldn't show up in Paris like that.
Exactly. And I just love that she's doing that. And the whole goal is just to eat cheese. Just loves cheese. Like,
just eat cheese. Yep.
I don't know if it's public knowledge, but like the working title of the film before Savoring Paris was Fromage à Trois.
Oh, okay.
Which I loved. I thought
love that too. No, that's great. Also, I love the way Bethany just totally sells the cheese thing. She's just like, she's like all in for the cheese. Like the boys are just bonus.
Yeah. Exactly. The cheese is the thing that changes the lives, not the men.
Not the men, yes.
The key message for the film.
Her true love.
Yeah, exactly.
The cheese.
So, have you ever filmed for Hallmark or any of these types of movies of the weeks?
No, I haven't. This was my first one. Hopefully not my last, because it was just such an awesome experience. We obviously, I've already mentioned how lovely the cast were. You know, Joy is a seasoned pro with Hallmark. Yeah. I think it was Stanley's first one. I think it was most other actors' first ones. And Joy just like took the reins, made us all feel so easy, safe. She just encouraged us to play and just have a great time. And obviously, the director Claire was just like this injection of like fun pocket rocket energy of just like, hey guys, we're doing this, let's go. Like, yeah, love that. Let's try this. It like everything. It felt like a really supported, but excited set. Like it was always great. That I've been on sets before where there's been, you know, there's the day that we're not getting the stuff done and it's tense and everyone's a bit like, oh God, you know, gotta get this right. There wasn't for me certainly. Like I didn't notice if there was, then they hit it really well.
Right.
But it was just always settled, easy. Like we're just here to make this awesome, fun film, guys. Let's do it. You know. So yeah, loved it. But yeah, and I really hope I get another one.
Yes. Yeah. How did you end up? How did you land in this movie?
In the role. So I'd actually auditioned. The casting director in London is a guy called Gordon, and he auditioned me for a couple of other Hallmark films, and I'd got, you know, however far down the line, and it never quite nabbed it. And this was the first one that it was like, okay, let's do. It was almost an in-person, because I think so many self-tapes, so many auditions now are just self-tapes, right? You never meet the people you could be working with. You never meet the casting director. It's just send in the tape and hope for the best. And with this one, we sent in the tape and then we had a proper Zoom call. So there was like a bit of direction, a bit of, you know, connection and discussion about how to do certain things. And let's try it this way. And for an actor, it's so helpful and so much more fun to like play with the work.
Right.
You just have your take on it, right? That's all you do. And you might try and do a couple of different things, but having someone feedback and go, love this, why don't we push that a bit more or pull that back and try something completely different here? And that's where I think the joy of being an actor comes, because it's just like, oh, I can mix it up. Oh, cool. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. So that was lovely.
I love that. You know, it was kind of fun because usually it's like a very clear-cut lead, and then there's like a secondary couple, and it was like not so much in this movie. There was this movement with Bethany's character through the world, and the guys kind of took her along the way, and so it ended up being a pretty big part. And I could totally see you coming back to Hallmark. You're totally open to doing that again?
Oh, of course, yeah. It was so much fun. I think it was, you know, we've got Bethany, we've got Joy, who is like the lead, and I think it's awesome when you've got this strong female lead, and just the way in which, even just watching the film, like Joy just like glides through the whole thing, and everyone seems to be oscillating around her. And I don't know if that was like if that was an intended thing, but the effect was just great. Like she's this this energy that everyone else is just like, oh, we're in that vortex now. Okay, great. And then it's like, oh, I've gone over here. And I love that. That was one of my favorite things in watching the film. Just this like very calm power that Joy brings to the screen.
That you said she glides through the film. That is a
perfect.
Well, I mean, when I say that, you know, it makes it sound like she wasn't trying, or that she makes it's easy. She makes it look so easy, and like there's you know so much work involved. But the fact that she did, it seemed effortless. So yeah, I was like, there was times I was just watching in awe, being like, learn from this woman.
That is really like a great description. Like, we all love her movies, and that is like maybe the best description of her I've heard.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
And like the quiet power kind of thing that you said too. See, it like she kind of brings that authority to her whatever project she's doing with, but it's not like it's in such a positive, quiet way.
It's not, none of it. It's never overpowering. And even in the scenes where she's uncertain, there is there's the counter of that, which is just the certainty. Like I'm definite in my uncertainty. And you're like, yeah, cool. You know, she's so talented, and the fact she's lovely as well. I mean, I know it's boring to hear when people are like talented and great and gorgeous and wonderful, but like, you know, I can't say anything else against her. She's just brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, it was just a lovely movie. And as someone who has never been to that part of the world, it was fun to be taken along for the journey. Yeah. And you talked, about being under the tower, but one of my favorite things is water is quite a bit in here. When you're just sitting along the water, that is like one of my favorite shots in the whole movie. Yeah. It was like, oh, I would love to just be sitting right there wherever they're sitting. That is beautiful.
It was, I mean, the Seine, I think they've also been going through a big like cleansing of the river, because they're doing either the triathlon or they're doing some big swimming thing in the Olympics. Okay. So they've been really focusing on like clearing the water. So it was just this like gleaming, glistening color. And, you know, any city that's got a river running through it is a winner for me. Like, you know, London's got the Thames. It's awesome. But I have also just finished watching on Netflix, I think it's called Under Paris, where a shark somehow gets into the Seine, and it's like this killer shark, kind of Jaws meets Paris. So I was sitting there going, wow, I'm glad that I didn't watch this before we filmed that.
I think the cities in Europe have so much like history, more so than the US even has a country, and haven't even been around that long.
You guys are young. You guys are very young. We're like
young and fresh, and
drama. There's a lot of drama that's gone on in Europe.
I don't know. Our daily lives, I think what you guys see and what we really actually live are two completely different things. It's green and sunny and the grass, and we don't have to clean our rivers either. So there's also that.
That's a big thing. Yeah.
I mean, we're just not so built up, but it just was so beautiful, and I just appreciated that like walk through kind of some of the different areas. So whoever's picked locations really loved it. The
location scouts did great, and again, I'm doing myself a disservice, but there was no acting involved in just being like, I had to pretend that I wasn't interested with it because I live there, right? Like, I imagine that it's not this great city, so that required some focus and attention. But it's beautiful. If you guys haven't been, really, really recommend. If you get the chance to visit, do it.
Yeah, someday. Yeah. So Ben, tell us a little bit how you got into acting.
So acting, I think, like for many people, I just always loved from a young age. I've got 4 brothers, so quite a big family, and I think it maybe initially started as my way of getting attention. Like I'm gonna put me on a stage and make people look at me. But it was always really interested in being in the school plays. Then went to sort of high school and did exactly the same thing. Was always sort of excelling in drama, and then actually went to university in England and got accepted there for drama. I went to Exeter University, got accepted there for drama, and my parents were like, no, I think we'll be getting a proper degree, Ben. So after much arguments and discussion, I amended my degree and did politics and psychology, kind of just like that. But I mean, it was really interesting. It was great. Had a lovely time at uni, made some friends for life, but wasn't doing what I really wanted to do. And I think my parents thought it was like a phase. By the time I come out, they'd be like, oh, he'll focus, he'll go into whatever. And I went, nope, nope, still going to do it. So auditioned for drama school in my first year out of uni, didn't get in anywhere. And then you can't get a second student loan in England. So like I used my student loan and then realized I can't afford to do drama school anymore. So kind of just had to start from the bottom and try and work my way up in the industry. And there's various websites that we've got over here that, you know, support low paid acting jobs just to get your CV built up. And so did a few very small jobs, invited agents to, you know, watch them or come and see them. And it took a while to get any active interest. And then managed to get a lead in a UK tour of Lord of the Flies. Building book, which is amazing, really great book. So I played Ralph in that, and then invited a couple of agents to that, and one of them picked me up, which was amazing. Felt very fortunate. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. Just been slogging away at it for the last 10-12 years, and have loved every minute. So no looking back, like no turning back.
So no politics, just
no politics. Psychology. I feel like I use psychology every day trying to figure out my family and like why I am the way I am and they are the way they are. But
I'm just like, as a parent who's had that actual real discussion with a child, I was just like, politics and psychology was not where I like actually directed him as alternatives.
They didn't even direct me. They were just like, no, get something that's going to help you in your life that you can fall back on. And I said, okay. And I honestly kind of just went, these two, the other two. I'd never studied either of them before. I just thought they both sound interesting. I suppose you need to act in both, and psychology would help with character study and that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of reasoning behind the madness, but yeah, it was a fun time at uni. I had a lovely time.
I kind of love that. So you have a big theater background. Would you do more theater in the future?
Definitely, yeah. Love theater. I think theater is in London is quite cliquey. Like it can be quite hard to get into because usually I think a typical way to go is if you're a musical theater, great. That's a very specific art form. I'm always so impressed with people that can belt out tunes. But quite often now it's sort of, you've got the lead actor that has been a movie star or a TV star that takes the leading role in the theater, and then you sort of have to build up your CV to get into those rooms. But I've been very fortunate with the theatres I've worked at in London. Done a lot of Shakespeare's, which is great. And yeah, I think like there's nothing like the terrifying excitement of getting on stage. It's you know, I actually think they should do studies on the amount of stress it puts your body through every single night, because it's nerve-wracking, but love it.
Isn't the adrenaline rush part of the
rush?
Madness. Yeah, it really is. It really is.
That's what you love.
Just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they wrate songs about that. It's the adrenaline, right?
Yeah, and you kind of have it on the film set, but I suppose to a different degree, because at the end of the day, like if it does go wrong, if something doesn't go wrong, or you want to have another go, 9 times out of 10 you can. Whereas live theater, whatever happens, and you just roll with it.
Right.
So
what is your favorite thing about acting? Like, what does it do for you?
That's a really good question. What's my favorite thing? I think the ability to play, the ability to be all things and it be okay. You know, I think we as individuals, as people, there's so many constraints on like what makes you a nice, good person. And, you know, in theater and TV, like not everyone is nice, good people. Like we hope that people think that we're fun to hang around with and intelligent or funny or just nice. I mean, I hate the word nice. I'm trying to think of another word, but nice. But, you know, a friendly person.
Right.
And quite often that's not, you know, you meet people who aren't like that. And it's always kind of a, wow, that's weird. I don't know. I got a really bad vibe from that person. So being able to try and figure out why that person has a bad vibe, what it was that made them have a bad vibe, and then go, I'm going to try and do that and see how that comes across. I think it's quite exciting. It kind of gives you permission to sometimes be a dick, which is
to do something you're not.
Yeah. I mean, ask my friends, I'll probably be like, yeah, he's lying. He's such an ass.
Your brothers will start messaging. Don't
Exactly. Yeah. Don't show them this interview. Whatever they say, they're lying.
But yeah, because brothers will call you out.
Yeah. One thing my family has is the ability to be so direct with one another. It always comes from a place of love, but my God, sometimes it's crushing.
The filter is gone when it comes to
Absolutely, yeah. We're not one of the families that tiptoe around each other's feelings. It's just bam.
I'm just like,
Is anybody else into acting in your family? Do any of your brothers?
None of them professionally. I mean, I think if you set a camera up at a dinner party at our house, you'd be like, these guys. It's like Housewives. I think there's like sort of Real Housewives vibes. But no, none of them. They actually all weirdly are still or have at one point worked in property. Weird. No, I don't know why I was like, no, that's not for me. I'm
yeah, but they can be in charge of your property.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I get the portfolio, a few more Hallmark films, and I'll be asking them for their advice.
Right. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite character that you've ever played in your career?
Favorite character? I think last year, a couple of years ago, we filmed the latest season until now of You on Netflix.
Yep.
I played a character called Roald Walker Burton, who, as I kind of just described, was a bit of a nasty piece of work.
Yep.
And it was just so fun. Just to be unashamedly like snobby, arrogant, so rich you just don't care. Like it was such a pleasure to do. And people were like, wow, you were really good at that. And I was like, oh God. that's not really deep internal thing for me.
It came natural to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the worrying thing. I was like, did you do this or is this just you? It was awesome. And again, the fun we had, that was all filming here in London. And just the locations we were shooting in, the way they made London look in the set, like filming in my home city was great.
That's
fun.
Yeah. Do you have like a dream role or maybe that you'd like to play?
Oh, a dream role. I've always been like a really big fantasy and a really big horror fan. So I mean, it's like some people just hate horror. They're like, I can't do it. Anything that makes me feel scared, I can't do it. I'm sitting there like, this is great. What's happening next? So I don't know. I like the lead in like a fantasy series that when Game of Thrones came out. God, what an absolute treat that would have been. Yeah. So exciting to create this world that so many people love, adore, are religious to the storytelling in it. To be able to tell that story for those people would be such a privilege. That
would be fun.
Yeah. I think because they just take you to a different place too, and you kind of get to make up what you're doing. Like, I think growing up, like, was a big Harry Potter fan. Just being in these worlds that as a kid you're like, why am I not at Hogwarts? Where's my letter? I don't quite understand. Mom, Dad, what have you done? It's my 11th birthday. Where's my letter?
Exactly. And so being part of those worlds that are just so magical, and communicating those and helping others realize those dreams would be great.
I think some new series. Let's write something.
Exactly, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm trying to think of what books I read as a kid that they haven't yet turned into series, but I did hear that I think they're making, obviously we've got House of Dragon now, which I think is still shooting, so fingers crossed something there. But I think they're making a new Harry Potter series. I think the films.
Yes, I've heard that. Yes, my daughter kept me updated.
I feel like I'm now at completely the wrong age. Like, I don't think I'm old enough to play any of the professors. I'm not young enough to play any of the kids, so I may have missed my chance here.
I feel like there's got to be something.
There's got to be something. Yeah,
there's got to be.
I hope.
Come on, the young cool professor. There's got to be like a young cool professor. I mean,
Professor Lockhart, maybe. We'll see. Gilderoy
Lockhart. Who ended up with this kind of scramble? That whole like Ron's wand is not good. Yeah.
I'm putting the energy out into the universe. We'll see.
Say it out loud.
Yeah.
Put out there. We'll see. Lift it up.
Exactly.
Say it out loud. Make it happen. I think a fantasy series would be super fun too.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing better than getting to watch a series, like a book series that you loved so much, come to life in such a wonderful way. It just adds so many layers.
Yeah, and I think the one of the things that's quite tough is that obviously you've got these books that are so beautifully written, whatever they might be, and there's so much detail, there's so much how much effort, love, sweat, and blood has gone into the detail. And one thing that TV shows often can't, like, you can't physically include all of those details. But the fact that they're just making this world is, you know, you sit down, you turn it on, you're like, I'm in. Let's go. What's happening here? So cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even my daughter's into the Percy Jackson series.
Yeah.
So lots of
great films. Yeah, the Greek mythology, all of that stuff. Growing up, loved. So yeah, big fan of the Percy Jackson ones.
Yeah. So we need a fantasy series for you.
Yes, please. That would be, if you guys wouldn't mind sorting that would be great. Thank you.
We're on it.
But you can find him as a mean guy.
Exactly.
I kind of love that. So do you have anything that you like to do when you're not acting? Do you have a hobby or pastime?
So I mentioned earlier, I was up very, very early this morning. My side hustle outside of acting, when I'm not acting, is I work for a global fitness brand called Barry's Bootcamp, which I think obviously you guys started in LA. You guys have got quite a few of them around around the country, and loads around the world. So that is kind of my performing when I'm not performing job. It's great because you're in charge of a class of people, you know, egging them on, spurring them on to like run faster, work out harder, do this, do that. And it's kind of like you're in your own party. It's an exciting hour. I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. So that keeps me very busy when I'm not on set or on stage.
Running some boot camp.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I think this might say something about my personality. I'm like, I really like being in charge and just yelling. But it's
motivating. You're motivating people.
Motivating people, exactly. Encouraging, it's being supportive.
Encouraging. Yes. Showing an example. You've got this.
If you don't have a good instructor, you're not going to have a good workout. Really.
That's very true. Have either of you ever done one?
Not that particular
brand. Yeah. We don't have those by us, but I've done boot camp and
for sure
types of things for sure.
Well, there's only one Barry's. You guys should try it out. Next time you're in a city that has one, you've got to try it out.
You know, here's the thing. We can just go to a city that has one. I mean, I can drive 5 hours in any direction.
Oh, really? Wow.
Still be in Minnesota. Still be in my school. I'm always like, it doesn't work like that. Like,
well, it does for me.
Okay, she's over on the East Coast, and so
you're East Coast. You're much closer. Yeah,
my state is only like less than an hour to drive through. So
it's crazy. I mean, I do often forget how big America is. Like, I'm like, wow, England's pretty big. It's not.
No, all of the UK, it takes 3.5 of them just to fit in Texas. 3.5 of all of the UK to fit in Texas. Yeah. So I'm in Minnesota. I'm in the Midwest, right at the Canadian border there. So like very middle, very top. But I can drive for hours and hours north or south and still be in Minnesota. So I mean, I drive
and terrifying. Like, it's, you know, in England, you drive an hour up the road and you're in a completely different village that is completely different vibe to London, especially. You know, London's such its own little micro bubble. There's so many different history things, and you know, we can go for an hour and be in France.
Right.
You've got a completely different.
In an hour, I'll be at work.
Yeah.
which is true. I mean, I live in the Twin Cities area and in Minnesota, and I just only recently realized that it would take 5 Rhode Islands just to fit in the Twin Cities, and that's just like the Minneapolis, St. Paul, and suburb areas.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So it's like, you know, that's big, and we're not Texas, man. Texas is bigger.
Yeah, you're operating on a different scale to me. I can't quite fathom that.
You know, somebody always just says, just think of all of Europe as the United States. And each country is a different state, and you're closer, but not still there.
Yeah. You know, actually, I was in LA last year, and even in LA, I mean, it's enormous. You know, I'm a big walker. London, you can walk everywhere with cycle everywhere. It's brilliant. Whereas LA, you have to have a car, and that trying to get used to that, I was like, I'll just pop to the shop. They were like, dude, the shop's miles. You need a car. I was like, oh. I was like, if we just walk there, they were like, no, it's going to be like a half an hour drive. Oh, right.
It's true.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's just, you know, it's just big. There's a lot of space. And there's a lot of space.
Except for my state, but we're special.
Yeah.
Right? But I'd love to go someplace where I can just walk around to all the shops.
Yeah.
So one day we're going to get there.
Hey, Ben, do you want to play a little favorites game with us?
Sure. Love to.
All right. Julie likes to say it's not really a game. It's just your favorite things.
Favorite things.
Turn it into a game. What is your favorite rom-com?
Oh, easy. Love Actually.
Oh,
Love Actually.
You know.
Toss up between Love Actually and Bridget Jones, but Love Actually just pips it. Grew up to that film. Absolutely superb. Love it.
Yes. Common answer too.
Yeah.
Favorite TV series or something you're binging that you're not in?
Well, I have always been a fan of Friends. I mean, that was on in our house from when I was, I don't know, 11, 12.
Yeah.
So that is a huge favorite of mine. Recently finished Schitt's Creek, which is also absolute classic. Just brilliant. But also, Game of Thrones. I mean, I'm giving you loads now.
No,
you can. There's no limits.
Yeah, those are the top ones. Just sit there. It's either on in the background, and I can with Friends. I'll know the episode by the first opening line. I've watched it so many times, and yet still it's on in the background whenever I'm at home. It's like an obsession. It's just the easiest program ever. I just love it.
Yeah.
Was that your first watch through of Schitt's Creek?
Yeah, I've now done my second. This is my second now.
Okay.
Over lockdown, everyone went mad about it here. Everyone was like, "This program is hilarious," and it took me a while to get into it. And
it took me a hot second too, but then once you get into it, you're like, "This is brilliant."
It's brilliant. The writing is superb. The comedy is fantastic. Every character just becomes more and more well defined, and just soars. I absolutely loved it.
It's so good. At work, we can sometimes have entire conversations just by sending Schitt's Creek gifts back and forth.
Usually Moira Rose, just like a Moira Rose quote.
Yes.
All the time. Or my son just sends me this picture one day and he's got a black and white sweater on and I'm just David.
Amazing.
Oh, that's funny. And there's actually a small Hallmark crossover between Hallmark and Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, there's quite a few Hallmark actors on Schitt's Creek.
No way.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to think. There's quite a few that oscillate in and out because it was shot in Toronto, and so Canada. It's like a lot of Hallmark actors. So there's quite a few that oscillate in and out of that. I'm trying to think now. I can't think, but you're always like, and there's.
Well, the first one that always comes to my mind is Citrus, obviously.
Well, Citrus is easy. So that's Kevin McGarry is Citrus, and he's in The Wedding Veil and on the
big Hallmark star.
Oh my God,
When Calls the Heart.
Watch these and find the links. That's so cool.
But there's quite a few that go in and out of Schitt's Creek. So
amazing.
Super fun.
Yeah, classic. Absolute classic program.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite food, maybe something healthy or an indulgent.
Thai food, hands down. I've got some in my fridge right now, like my absolute go-to takeaway. Pad Thai, green curry, like anything like that. It's just there's so many different flavors, so many different things you can have. Adore it.
Yeah,
love food.
Pad Thai is one of our favorites too.
Yeah, it's so basic, isn't it? It's such a basic thing on every Thai menu.
It's like comfort food.
Yeah, massive comfort food. Yeah.
Love that. And do you have any?
Either of you been to Thailand?
No.
Once again, places I haven't been. I haven't been. Actually, on my list to go to Asia is I'd like to go to Korea with my sister. So
nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's actually high on my list. Hey, do you have a favorite music band or singer or both?
Do you know what? So much of my music is dictated by the songs I play at Barry's, and so I'm massively in a pop remix kind of zone. Just hunting down classic songs like noughties, 90s, 10s that everyone loves.
Yep,
a really banging remix to it. I think my music taste is quite eclectic, but if it's got an amazing beat, I'm just like, let's go, everyone, let's do it. So my friends, at parties, I'm not the one that people come to sort the playlist. That's other people's jobs. But if they want a good workout, they'll come to me.
And music is key because sometimes I'll be working out and I'll look at my trainer. I'll be like, "You've got to put on some
something else,
old lady club music." So I can really work.
Exactly. It's so important. It drives the energy. It drives the beat. If you haven't got a good playlist, it makes it very, very difficult to energize
Agreed.
yourself.
Sometimes you're just like, who picked the songs for this? It's like not good.
Exactly.
Not good. Okay, and last one, what is your favorite hobby? So not working out, not acting, but something else you like to do.
Oh God, it's boring. Like I like reading. I really
I
like
love to
reading.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big reader. Like my happy place is after a manic long day. This is so sad, but like lying in the bath with a really good book. Just
That
being
is not sad. That is like dreamy.
It's
Yeah.
like,
it's brilliant.
beautiful. It's a
Some people just don't like baths. I'm always like, how can you not? Like it's hot water. You immediately relax, and you've got a good book.
Yeah.
Bliss.
So what are you reading now?
I'm reading a book called Demon Copperfield at the moment by an author called Barbara Kingsolver. She wrote something called The Poisonwood Bible a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Great, really, really enjoying it. She's incredibly detailed in her writing, and it's always so. Poisonwood Bible was set. I read it years ago. It's set somewhere in Africa about this missionary family that go over from America to Africa, and just the way in which she describes the landscape, the style. Demon Copperfield is set in. Oh God, testing me. I think it might be Tennessee. And it's all about this boy who's an orphan and just about how he's kind of screwed by the system. It's quite heartbreaking. But sort of how he overcomes that, or I mean, I'm not at the end of it yet, so I hope he does overcome it. But it's just brilliant. She's so detailed with characters, with locations, like you really feel like you're there where she's describing. It's brilliant. Really, really enjoying it.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's a good answer. We're both readers, so
yeah. Are you guys reading anything good at the moment? Any recommendations?
I have not started a new book yet, but I need to find one. I've been really into just reading like romance and rom-coms.
Nice.
Sometimes you just need something real light.
Yeah.
But I also like historical fiction. Yeah.
Where the Crawdads Sing, and then they made it into a film.
Yeah.
Love that.
That was the Audible was excellent for that.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's a busy mom, so she does audibles a lot, and it's a great choice.
Yes, especially those days where you just like can't stand anybody. Put one AirPod in, listen to a story. Half your brain can go there, while the other half keeps the kids alive. Yeah.
Right.
Job.
I'm to the age now where my kids are starting to send me like, here, let's read this, or let's read this. So that's very fun to have that. So especially great. Some of my oldest son was just devoured books. Like I couldn't buy him a pile big enough of books, especially when we would travel. But now my younger ones that didn't read so much now are reading tons as young adults. So
that's great.
Kind of loving that. So
it's so good. I think, do you know what? I think for my age group, I think Harry Potter or J.K. Rowling was responsible for getting a whole generation of people to start reading. And that's just amazing. Like, I love a read. If I ever have time, just that little time to like set back, chill out, and just take yourself away. Awesome.
Yeah, I just missed that. Like Harry Potter came out when I was not quite a kid anymore. So I saved it and I got to read it with my daughter.
Oh, amazing. That's
which
great.
Was real special. Yeah.
That's really special. Yeah. Well done.
My oldest son was, he could barely read, and then he read an entire Harry Potter book in a day and a half. So like, that's like how we went through those. It was like, he reads real fast.
Yeah, that's great. That's so special. It's a really special thing.
Love it. So Ben, tell everybody, where can they follow you on social media?
God, I always get asked this in interviews, and I'm so bad with my Instagram. It's my handle is at Ben M Wiggins. Just on Instagram, actually.
Okay.
I've never really been a social media person, but I bit the bullet and got it. So yes, that's where you can find me.
All right. Sounds good.
Perfect. And do you have anything else coming up that we can look for?
You know what? I'm at the stage of auditioning at the moment, and so it's the very nerve-wracking and having to be very patient where you hear back from stuff or don't hear back, as the case may be. So nothing set in stone at the moment, but fingers crossed. I mean, you guys are sorting out my fantasy series, so that's
we'll get that sorted out.
Looking forward to that. But yeah, watch this space.
Awesome. Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us today. And
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I hope everybody watches Savoring Paris. on the Hallmark
Absolutely. Me too. Hallmark Channel, baby.
Great. Thanks
That's
for
our
joining
clip.
us.
Perfect. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you
And
so much,
thanks,
guys.
everybody.
See you later. Thanks a lot.